fruits and vegetables. This is New Jersey Secretary of Agriculture Doug Fisher. When you buy Jersey Fresh, you're guaranteed that it's local and you're supporting our farmers. Stay loyal to local.
Now, back to the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
All right, Sports Bash Friday. Happy Hour Friday with your Sunday setup. We'll do that for you later. We got a bunch of them coming in. I'll read where everybody's doing for the Eagles game. What you drinking for the Eagles game? Sunday setup at Mike Gill Show. Download the free mobile app. Message me through the app or text 609-403-0973. Bob Wankel, he's a happy father again. Big winner there for the weekend. He has been on the paternity list, but he's coming off of it for just this spot, and then he's going right back on. It sounds like Zach Eflin. Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. Bob Wankel, Crossing Broad, covers the Phils, and he is with me here. So you weren't there last night?
I was not. I've actually been away this week from the team, and so I saw what happened. I've been following, but I have not been there in person. I haven't been covering the team. And I apologize in advance. I think I'm working on about 95 minutes of total sleep the last 2 nights. So
yeah, I gave you a chance for a bullpen game today. You said I wanted to take the ball and start.
Yeah, that's all right. You don't need Sam Coonrod for this one. We can hold it down. I could be there and cover it, or I could watch it from afar and tell you that these guys are absolutely 100% cooked.
Well, okay, so you said they're 100% cooked. Was it because of the way they lost the game last night? I mean, I'm there last night, and I said, hey, one more pitch and we're out of here because, people are getting restless. They want to leave. And, of course, the pitch gets delivered into the right field stands, and then you give up another one because you did get the run back in the ninth, but because you gave up a bomb that almost went out of the stadium. I mean, that thing was one of the furthest home runs I've ever seen. It just feels like that coupled with a bullpen game today is like a crushing blow.
Yeah, listen, I agree. I mean, we haven't seen a real pennant race here, or a division chase with a plus 500 team going down the stretch that you thought actually had a shot in the middle of September in a long time. So I look at this and I say, hey, it's easy to overreact and say the contextuals of last night, it ends the season. There's no way they're going to overcome this. They're 3.5 games out, 22 games left. Mathematically, there's time. They're still playing a bad Rockies team the remainder of this weekend. We still know about the favorable schedule, still have Atlanta for 3 games. They could pass the Braves, but they're running out of opportunities. And when you combine the way that they lost last night with the way that the Braves come back, it's a huge swing. And I just wonder at some point, you can say these guys were resilient, they fight, and they kept themselves in it despite some injuries and bad circumstances. But I think it's really hard to say after 160, 140 games now, that this is a playoff team, or this is a team that's going to be able to run down the Braves and be 4 games better than them essentially over the last 3 weeks of the season.
Bob, I took a look at it and said, look, 71-69, you're in a pennant race by numbers only, by games back only. Record-wise, this just isn't a playoff team. I mean, that's the reality of it is they're just not good enough. It's not a playoff team.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that, losing Rhys Hoskins is obviously a killer, and I'm not really in excuse mode for these guys. I think that there's still enough there that they should have been able to take advantage of this, especially when you consider the way that their starting pitching has been for the most part. Certainly they have to go to a bullpen game every turn through the rotation. But by and large, they've gotten decent starting pitching, and the offense is just completely
They won the game. They had the bullpen game.
Yeah, but that's what I kind of come back to. They just have had so many opportunities, so many advantageous situations that they've just kicked away again and again. And at some point that catches up with you. And, just some simple math here. If you look at the reality of this situation, if the Phillies were to get to 85 wins, they would have to go 14-8 the rest of the way. The Braves would have to go 11-12. Now, can the Braves go 11-12? Would I put that beyond Atlanta? No, I wouldn't. But are the Phillies going 14-8 over their last 22? I just don't see it. And that's where I'm at. And if you look at Baseball Reference, they do playoff projections. They have the Braves penciled in around 88% to win the division. The Phillies are checking in somewhere roughly in the neighborhood of 10%. So you look at those odds, you look at the sportsbook odds, Braves are minus 360 to win the division, Phillies are plus 380. It's a long shot. It just is.
It is, and last night didn't help, and especially now you're going to have that 7-game set, 3 with Baltimore and 4 with Pittsburgh, or vice versa. It's 7 against those 2 teams. I guess you can circle them. Here's the problem I have with that, Bob. They've had the easiest schedule since the All-Star break and haven't really taken advantage of it. They still sit 3.5 back. That tells me, again, 71-69. I don't care if you're playing good teams, bad teams, mediocre. You're mediocre, and therefore, that's why you're not making up the ground you won.
Yeah, I think that's just really what it comes down to. You look at where they're at and what they have in front of them, and certainly they would be, in theory, able to rip off a number of wins here. And I know that they've had 2 extended winning streaks after the All-Star break, but those winning streaks have been they're completely wiped away 3-4 games out, because then they go into these tailspins. I mean, they have this impressive Labor Day victory over the Brewers. Then they don't, they lose the series the next 2 nights. You come back. Last night, to me, that was a game where it was you've got to get right. And you had to get right last night. You were 1 strike away. You lose the game. And I just don't think there's enough talent here. Maybe they can win 6 out of 7.
Yeah.
But can they win 15 out of 22? I don't see.
Yeah. Well, how about this poll? I just saw this. Ryan Spader pulls this one. The Phillies have had the lead in 106 of their 140 games this season. By comparison, San Francisco has had a lead in 109 of their 140 games. San Francisco has the best record in baseball. Philadelphia's 500. 30 blown saves. I mean, these are things you just cannot overcome. Now, Girardi was asked last night, are you going to stick with Kennedy? What are you going to go back to Neris after the people have been begging you to pull Neris? He's basically out of cards to pull in that bullpen.
Yeah, listen, Hector Neris has done a really nice job. When he's not been in the 9th inning, in tough spots, he's held down multiple innings at times. He's pitched out of jams at times. But you've seen now over multiple seasons that the 9th inning and Hector Neris don't get along. So how can you, with any conviction whatsoever, go back to him?
That's a good one.
And you just look at it, and listen, Ian Kennedy has not been very good. He really hasn't. He was certainly he struggled last night, but I just don't know what else Joe Girardi has. And Mike, I have to say, and maybe this is because I've stepped away from it a little bit over the last week, but that's the thing. Of course, Joe Girardi has to be asked, what are you going to do about your closer? But his options. And as you're asking that question and you hear his response, he doesn't have any. And that's exactly the thing. It's not like you're sitting at home listening to Joe Girardi, or, you're on a Zoom call listening to Joe Girardi and saying well, if I were Joe, this is what I would do, because the answer is so obvious. If you just watch this team, that Joe Girardi has struggled at times himself, and he should not be absolved of blame. But that he does not have a lot of options, especially late in games.
Right. Especially where Neris is the obvious option, but you've already booed Neris right on out of that spot. So you can't be sitting your ass on the couch hoping he goes back to Neris after you've essentially booed him out of that spot. What are you going to say? Hey, why aren't you pitching Archie Bradley in this spot here? This is the problem of what they have. And then you go on and throw out the bullpen game. They don't have a 5th starting pitcher to get through a pennant race. They've lost their first baseman. It's admirable that they're here. But again, this is an organization that is just short on talent.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And you name all these other scenarios, all these other problems that they're facing, and it still comes back to Aaron Nola, right? You're getting out of Aaron Nola on any given start. And so I think that that's really the problem. When you just look at this and you watch them play a decent game, or they string together 3 or 4 solid games in a row. But when you step back and you just see this thing on repeat again and again and again, it's really hard to believe in the product. And you said you were down there last night. Listen,
nobody there.
I watched the game on television. It didn't look like there was a soul there. It looked like a Trenton Thunder game. And so to me, that kind of says that.
I think there was more people to see Petty pitch than there was at that game last night.
Probably was. And I just think that kind of goes to show you, hey, it's the fall, school's back in session. Here comes the NFL. But more than anything, this is a good baseball city, a good baseball fan base that's been starved for postseason play. And they showed up last night 2.5 games out. And it just doesn't seem like anybody cares. And sometimes I think that we overrate, and I know this probably isn't going to play well, but I think sometimes we overrate the knowledge and the passion of Philly fans. I think a lot of that's pandering, frankly, sometimes. They're a good fan base, but at the same time, this fan base is smart enough to know that this is a fraud. and they know.
Well, was it okay? Now, this is an interesting point you bring up because the whole thing with Gabe Kapler when they were quote unquote in it. I mean, they were in these races, but nobody believed in them. Because they didn't have the guy. Is Bryce Harper not a guy? I mean, didn't you bring him here to give you the belief that we have a guy? So because we were 2 games out in September, you didn't believe in us. Well, now we have a guy that you should be believing in us. Is Bryce Harper not the guy we thought he was? Even though he's going to be in the MVP conversation, for God's sakes.
I mean, if the rest of this team, it's a shame because I know that the MVP is an individually based award. But I mean, if the rest of this team was pulling its weight on a more consistent basis, to me, like, he would be the front runner to win this award. Like, he's been that good. Like, he has had clutch moments. He has pulled his weight, but it's been all for naught, right? Like, because they're not winning these games. They're not letting his big moments. Like, he hits that homer early on the other night in Milwaukee, but it comes in a loss. He hits a home run last night at the start of the game. Like, if they win the game, the narrative changes. Like, Bryce Harper propels Phillies to key victory 1.5 games out. But, like, those moments kind of get scrubbed away when Ian Kennedy goes out and falters in the 9th inning, or JT Realmuto goes into a week-long slump at the absolute worst time. I mean, that's the problem here. Bryce Harper has been great, but, like, he can't do it on his own. He just can't.
No, you're right. Oh, you're absolutely right about that. And then, of course, you mentioned Nola. I brought him up on Tuesday or whatever day he pitched the next day saying, look, he has been the problem this season. When you have inconsistency from the guy who opened this season for you as your ace and you don't know what you're getting from him half the time, that is another huge reason. And I know he's got a good contract. It's controllable to say, you're just going to trade him off. But you almost have to now go into next season saying we need an upgrade over that number 2 spot in the rotation.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's the ultimate, like, 2 things can be true guy. Like, is there more in the tank there? Yes. Like, are there numbers that suggest that he's better than what he's shown with the ERA and wins and losses? Sure. But, I mean, if you've watched him take the ball every time through the rotation, like, you know that he just hasn't been right. Like, he hasn't made key pitches in key situations on a consistent basis. He's shown flashes, but, like, any questions that you have about Aaron Nola, like, I think sometimes, like, baseball fans and, like, the, like, I know more than you do people, like, the numbers people, which I myself can be sometimes, like, we can, like, kind of, like, turn our noses up and say, like, you obviously don't get it, but, like, I think it's okay to, like, watch the Phillies this year and have this take that, like, he has not been good enough. They need more out of him. And maybe they should consider, revamping the starting rotation and look elsewhere. Like, you would be selling short on him. You'd be selling at an all-time low. But, like, at the end of the day, like, he has not proven at any point now down the stretch in key starts that he can go out there and deliver for you. And, like, that's a huge problem anywhere. And it's especially a huge problem in Philadelphia because they will not let you forget about it.
I feel like I want the post-mortem on the Phillies season, Bob Wankel, to have a baby. Can you have another baby in like a week and a half when this season's really done? This is really good. All right, Bob Wankel, at Bob Wankel CB on Twitter. Congratulations, man.
Yeah, sorry I'm a little crabby today. I'll try to return next week and bring a little bit more positivity for you.
I don't know that there's going to be much, but they do have the Orioles and the Pirates. I was going to say Ravens and Steelers, but football's on the brain. They have the Orioles and Pirates coming up before they play the Braves. So I'll ask you this. We got about 40 seconds. Will those Braves games have any meaning?
Yeah, I think they'll be right where they're at right now. Like 3 games out, and, if you sweep them, you're right back in it.
Will they finish 500 or above or below?
I got them above by a hair. I got them like 82, 83 wins.
Yeah, you're more positive than me, even cranky.
Yeah, I think they basically split the rest of the way here.
All right, Bob Wankel. All right, man. Go enjoy being a dad.
All right, I'll talk to you. Thanks, Mike.
See you, bud. That's Bob Wankel, Crossing Broad. He covers the Phillies, and he does a great job for Crossing Broad, and he'll be back with us with the weekend recap on Monday if we get it in, because if they lose and they're out of it, we'll probably be talking all about the Eagles. If they win and they're back in it, well, we'll want to talk about the Phils. Sports Bash is live on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. You can download the free mobile app. It's free thanks to First Bank of Sea Isle. And you can message us through the app, as many of you have begun to do. If you're listening on the app, or if you're listening on the radio, you can message us through the app. Just open the app, hit the Message Us button, and we'll read off your messages throughout the show. Also, We're asking you, what's your Sunday setup for the Eagles game on Sunday? Let us know what's your Sunday setup for the Eagles game on Sunday. Where you're watching, what you got, what's your food, what's your drink. All that on a Happy Hour Friday. Pete Thompson tonight at 4:40. Casey Joyner, One Thought every game. You'll want to stick around to hear what he has to say on the Eagles and the Falcons matchup. And coming up next, Andrew DeCecco, Football at 4. Nick Sirianni told us about Rodney McLeod and Brandon Brooks' availability. I got the answer next.
The hunt for October continues this weekend. The next chapter of the Subway Series finds both the Yankees and Mets fighting for the postseason. And every game is critical.
Judge, and it's a one-run game. Opposite way to right center for Alonso.
I didn't mean to offend anybody.
Home run! Stand.
The Yankees and Mets.
Listen to Major League Baseball on 97.3 ESPN. Coverage begins at 7 p.m.
Health Update with Robin Stoloff. Learn more, live better.
What do pickles, vinegar, sauerkraut, yogurt, kombucha, and sourdough bread all have in common? Yep, they're all fermented, and that means they all have major health perks. Fermented foods are beneficial for gastrointestinal health, which can support healthy digestion, weight management, and even mood and mental health. Since more than 70% of our immune system resides in our GI tract or gut, the probiotics in fermented food can increase our immune health. Start with a staple, sauerkraut, made from just salt and cabbage. It's full of probiotics and vitamins. It promotes good bacteria in our gut microbiome. The best choice, raw sauerkraut in the refrigerated section. Our gut health is vital to our physical and mental health, so let's make it a priority to eat more fermented foods. I'm Robin Stoloff for Health Update.
Health Update with Robin Stoloff, empowering you to live a healthier life.
It's back to school, and at Matt Blatt Kia, our math is easy. Put zero down, make zero payments for 90 days, or pay 0% financing for 60 months on every new 2022 Kia Stinger and Sportage in stock. Plus, we need your trade. We'll even buy it for cash. Even if you don't buy a Kia from us, used car values are at an all-time high. Your car may be worth more than you think. Worried about your credit? Forget it. We finance your future, not your past. All new 2021 Kia Niro EXEV with zero to it signing and zero security deposit. Lease just $275 per month. It's basic math. Zero down, zero payments, or zero interest for 60 months.
It's gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
Offers with approved Tier 1 and 2 credit through Kia Motors Finance. Not all will qualify. 0% based on 1667 per 1,000 borrowed. Negative equity financed into new loan. Niro 36-month lease, 10,000 miles per year. Excludes taxes, title, license, and doc fee. Offers don't combine. Call 877-289-6670 or go to mattblattkianj.com for complete details.
Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township.
And now on Route 37 in Tom's River.
Oh, according to research, 82% of people remember radio ads. That means that 82% of you listening right now will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. If you're hiring, 82% of you will recall that ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. And 82% of you will note that you can try ZipRecruiter for free today. But you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Yes, free. 82% of you will keep in mind that ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified people for your job and actively invites them to apply.
Is that you? Who are you talking to?
82% of you will also know that I, live with my mom. But the most important thing to note is that ZipRecruiter works. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Will you be part of the 82% who remember where you can try ZipRecruiter for free? It's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Again, that exclusive link is ZipRecruiter.com/free. How much? Free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Susan, it's so great to finally be able to get together again.
Oh, it sure is. And I really appreciate you picking up the bill.
I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using Get Upside, the free gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Get Upside app?
Yes, up to 25 cents a gallon. Cash back every time I buy gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Some months I make $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Get Upside app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code REFUEL.